Good morning, and this, thank you for joining to the Welspun Enterprises Q1 FY 2021 earnings conference call. From the management side, we have Mr. Sandeep Garg, MD and CEO, Mr. Akhil Jindal, Group CFO and Head Strategy, Mr. Ved Mani Tiwari, Deputy CEO, and Mr. Sridhar Narasimhan, Chief Financial Officer. We will start with an update from the management for the past quarter and then proceed to the Q&A session. Thank you. And now I hand over the call to the management for the opening comments. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mohit. Thank you, IDFC Securities. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Welspun Enterprises Limited, I welcome you all for Q1 FY 21 results con call. I hope that you, your family and colleagues are well and are taking the necessary safety measures. As has been informed on this call, from the management side, we have myself, Sandeep Garg, Mr. Akhil Jindal, Group CFO, Mr. Sridhar Narasimhan, CFO, Welspun Enterprises, and Mr. Ved Mani Tiwari, Deputy CEO, Welspun Enterprises. I believe you would have already gone through the financial results published yesterday. Before we go into the details for this quarter, let me quickly start with key recent developments. Point number one, I would want to draw your attention to the process of I would want to draw your attention to the project Mukarba Chowk, Panipat, wherein the process of harmonious substitution was completed on 8th June 2020. It is a boat toll road which is partially completed, and we have taken over the process of harmonious substitution. I would also want to draw your attention to a long awaited project which we won in 2018, which is the SNRP or Satanathapuram Nagapattinam Road Project, which was stopped by Madras High Court for further proceeding. I am happy to inform that the Honorable Supreme Court, with its order dated 13th of July, has granted an ad interim relief stay on the Honorable High Court's order, which is a very positive development for the project to see the appointed date. We expect the appointed date to take place in the month of August 2020. Also important to note is that the operations and financial results for the Q1 have been muted due to the lockdown. The results for the quarter are therefore not comparable with those for the previous quarter. However, we believe that we would be able to make up for the deferred revenue in the subsequent quarters. Therefore, we believe that we would be able to achieve our guidance of 20% year-on-year growth during the financial year. I would also want to brief you about the precautions that we are taking due to the situation of pandemic. We are extremely cautious, and higher standards of hygiene and safety are being practiced by our staff across all our locations, and we are trying to create awareness amongst our employees, which is leading to additional effort on our part. Happy to inform that currently at all our work sites, the workforce is approximately 75%, and we expect that it will go up to 100% post-monsoon. In brief, I would want to also talk about the operational performance. As I said, it's been a muted quarter on a macro level. Our revenue for Q1 FY21 stands at 174 crores. However, the good part is that we have been able to improve upon our EBITDA margin, which stands at 15%, 131 bits growth year-on-year basis. Now, I would want to update our specifically on our projects. Coming to the road portfolio, as you are aware, our current HAM portfolio of 7 projects stands at approximately 10,000 crores. In addition, the BOOT project of rupees 2,100 crores has also been acquired through harmonious substitution. So the total value of the portfolio stands at over 12,000 crores. The current order book post execution of Q1 stands at approximately 4,700 crores. Coming to specific projects, Delhi-Meerut Expressway Package 1, which is the completed project of the company, we are pleased to inform you that we have received the 4th annuity in July 20 within the stipulated time from NHAI. You would recall that we refinanced this project with a top-up loan of 65 crores at an interest rate of 8.17% per annum, which shall further drop down to about 8.02% in September. At approximately 8% cost, this will be one of the most cost-effective financing and help us bridge the gap between the NHAI interest rate, which is currently payable at 7.25%. Friends, you may recollect that sudden drop in the bank rate due to the intervention by RBI in 2 subsequent announcements in response to the pandemic has adversely affected the entire industry dynamics. The government is now seized with the current adverse effect, and we believe that some solution will emerge quickly for the industry at large on this account. I would want to brief you for the next project, which is Chutmalpur-Ganeshpur and Roorkee-Chutmalpur-Ganeshpur, or normally called CGRG. The payment for this for the last installment, that is the 5th milestone, has been received by the company. And as we speak, a supplementary agreement is likely to be signed between NHAI and the company shortly, at which point the PCOD shall be issued, which we expect in a couple of days from now. The next project that I would want to brief you is about Gagalheri-Saharanpur-Yamunanagar, or GSY. The physical progress of this project stands at about 93% at the end of the quarter 1 FY21. For this project also, we have received the payment of 5th milestone, or the last milestone during the construction phase, from NHAI in March 2020. And it is our endeavor to achieve the PCOD for this project also in the August itself. The third project that I would want to brief you, or the fourth project that I would want to brief you about, is Chikli-Tarsar Road project in Maharashtra. The physical progress of this project stands at about 61% at the end of Q1 FY21, or 30th June 2020. The project has received the payment for 3rd milestone from NHAI, and we are likely to achieve the PCOD for this project also during the current calendar year. The fifth project that I would want to brief is about AM2 in Maharashtra, Amravati. The physical progress for this project stands at 63% as of 30th June 2020. We have received part payment against the third milestone from the PWD against this project. We are likely to achieve PCOD for this project also during this calendar year. So just to recap, with these 5 projects, we will by the year end have 5 operational projects out of these total 7. So approximately 6,000 odd crores value of the portfolio of 10,000 would be completed by this calendar year. Coming to the balance portfolio, the project that I would want to brief is Anta Simaria. It's a bridge project over River Ganga with 8.7 kilometers total length. The physical progress for this project stands at about 22% as of 30th of June 2020. The first payment milestone at 10% has already been received from NHAI. The last project in the HAM portfolio is Satanathapuram Nagapattinam. As informed earlier, happy to share that the Honorable Supreme Court has given relief to the NHAI by granting an ad interim stay against the Honorable Madras High Court order, and the project is likely to receive appointed date in the month of August, subject to internal process completion at NHAI. Now coming to the recently acquired project, BOOT project, which is Mukarba Chowk Panipat toll project. We became the concessionaire for this 2,122 crores project through a process of harmonious substitution. Out of this 2,122 crores, the balance works are relating to 1,593 crores to complete the project. We could get the substitution done in the early part of June 2020, and now we are fully mobilized at site and the work is going on in full swing. It will be our endeavor to achieve the PCOD for this project in this financial year. Coming to the water infra, the operational Devas Water project, which became operational from 30th April 2019, was operational during the pandemic as well. And during the Q1 FY21, the revenue stands at 2.3 crores and an EBITDA of 1 crore. Coming to oil and gas, there are 4 relevant projects. As you would recall, this is a joint venture operation with Adani, wherein we are only 35% partner. The first block is Kutch block, or we normally call GK1. ONGC is the operator for this block, and they are in the process of submitting the field development plan, which is expected to be submitted by September 2020. Because of the pandemic, there has been an extension granted to them to submit this FDP. The next block that I would want to talk about is the Mumbai block, or MBOSN 2005/2 block. We have been granted the permission to enter into phase 2 of this project, and we are expecting to start drilling the one well program in this block post-monsoon. The third block that I would want to talk about is the discovered small field cluster of B9. We are targeting to drill one well in the B9 field of this cluster post the drilling of Mumbai block well. Of these three blocks, the overall GIIP is about 0.9 TCF, trillion cubic feet. And this resource has been verified by a peer review. We expect the EUR, or ultimate economic recovery, of about 70% of GIIP. The last block of interest for this operation is Palej block. As you will recall, this was the termination notice for this block was issued by the ministry because of the fraudulent act of Nestogas India. We are making efforts to revive the block because it is already a find. It's a discovered field with oil present. Now, coming to the outlook, post-June, NHAI bidding has started and we are selectively participating in the bidding process while maintaining our threshold returns. As we speak, there are about 26 HAM projects of NHAI with total value of 27,000 crores for which the bids have been announced. Apart from NHAI, we are selectively looking at evaluating HAM projects of frontline state and municipal agencies. The company will continue to explore inorganic growth opportunities through measured evaluation of risk-return parameters. In the water segment, we are mainly focused on sewage treatment plant, desalination and bulk water transmission, either through EPC route or through HAM mode. WL is well positioned for early financial closure of new project wins as and when it happens, given its healthy cash situation. You may recollect that we raised rupees 375 crores by way of NCDs in Q1, which adds to our cash balance. The company will continue to pursue an asset-light model while focusing on operational excellence and prudent risk management. Now, I hand over this call to Mr. Sridhar Narasimhan for the financial highlights. Over to you, Narasimhan.
Thank you, Sandeep. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And as Sandeep said, this has been a muted quarter with revenues being affected due to the pandemic situation. However, as our guidance goes, we will scale up to our guidance level during the subsequent quarters. So our revenue for quarter one stood at 174 crores. Our operating EBITDA at 19 crores, and the margin was at around 15%, which is a healthy 130 basis over the corresponding quarter. Cash profit, considering the tax effective rate of around 19%, stands at around 17 crores. And as Sandeep said, we have adequate cash to take care of our subsequent equity requirements and also for growth capital. We have got a cash balance of around 520 crores, 515 crores end of quarter ended June 2020. The additional equity requirement for our existing projects is around 350 crores, broadly into the existing operational HAM products projects of around 130 crores, oil and gas 110 crores, and the recently acquired BOOT project of 115 crores. So hence, and we also have undrawn cash limits, which actually adds to our cash kitty and which is good enough for our any immediate equity requirements for our growth prospects. The short-term loans of 74 crores, which is represented by commercial papers and equipment loan, and the long-term loan of around 375 crores is adequately supported by the current assets and fixed assets, and we have adequate security cover there. And Sandeep, back to you in case you want to.
Yeah. With this, our initial communication or presentation is over, and I would request IDFC to seek any questions that the investors may have.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The first question is from the line of Rohit Natarajan from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. So my first question is more on the Satnapuram project.
Mr. Natarajan, sorry to interrupt you. The audio is not clear, sir, from your line. Please use the handset mode.
Can you hear me now?
Much better. Thank you.
Yeah. So my first question is more to do with Satnapuram project. Now that we have got already a relief from the Supreme Court, what do we make out of this relief? Can you quantify what amount of work could be de-scoped, or what quantum of work could be lost from the potential backlog from that particular project?
So, as I said, we don't know the answer as of now because it has been a recent relief that has come from the. There seems to be some.
No, I think the static voice is at their end. Continue.
So, as I said, it is a recent relief. However, the NHAI internal processes are yet not complete. So as soon as they are complete, we would know if there is a de-scoping that is taking place and to what extent. I do not expect any large amount of de-scoping, but it could be anything between 15 to 20% of the contract value.
I appreciate that, sir. My second question is more on the PCOD status for the 4 projects in this year, what we are targeting, CGRG, GSY, AM and CT. Is now that we are already done a good progress in CGRG and GSY, and even AM and CT should probably be ramped up. Would you be initiating a conversation with prospect investors to monetize this particular bunch, that is these 4 plus 1 Delhi that you already have operational?
That is the intent, Mr. Natarajan, for sure, that we bring a size to this portfolio so that we can attract right investors into that portfolio.
I appreciate that, sir. Sir, also you earlier hinted that there were some water projects available for bidding, close to some 300 odd billion was the conversation that we had last time, especially from MCGM, AP and Marathwada. Now that the states are not clearly in a good position to finance all these projects, do you think this kind of prospect order inflow lies in water space?
I surely believe water is not an option, it is a necessity. and I do believe that the resources will be found for the water irrespective of anything. So we are strongly committed to the water sector, and we believe that these agencies which are behind these projects like MCGM, they are pretty liquid entities, so they can take on to these projects for sure.
Sure, sir. I appreciate that answer. Just finally, sir, on the labor availability part, you touched that already you have some 75% labor available, and post-monsoon, this will shoot up all the way to 100%. Sir, would you want to quantify some number that you have in mind by 2Q you will have maybe at 90% level or something at close to 100%? Is that the way should we see it? And will we be normalized by Q3?
So, Mr. Natarajan, as you would appreciate, this is a forward-looking statement. The answer is this is based on a situation that we believe that the pandemic will be dealt the way the current trend is. So it will be too difficult for us to say that what it will be at the end of Q2, but it is reasonably fair to expect that post-monsoon there is definitely a push from the government as well as from the need from the workforce to come back to the work site. So we expect it to be in full swing post-monsoon.
Sure, sir. I understand those constraints. I thank for all these answers. If there are any questions, I will get back into the queue. Thank you.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The next question is from the line of Manoj Kumar from IDFC Securities Limited. Please go ahead.
Hi sir, good morning and congratulations on completion of Garba Panipat Bond application. I have 3 questions with me broadly in terms of the outlook that is there.
Mr. Kumar, sorry to interrupt you. This is the operator. So the audio is not clear from your line. So please increase the volume of your phone.
Yes, sorry. Sir, I have 3 broad questions with me. One in terms of the outlook that you have provided. Maybe if you could touch upon on how you are working out internally to achieve that 20% growth that you gave off. That is one first question, and I'll take the next question after.
Yeah. So as you would notice that our current order backlog unexecuted stands at about 4,700 crore level. Now, for us to have a 20% growth, we need a turnover of about 2,100 crores, which is less than 50% of our current unexecuted order book in hand. So we are reasonably confident that we will be able to execute this much of projects.
Okay. Sir, if I may ask more on this, what is the trend that you are seeing like in Q2, Q3 and Q4 to ramp up? How you are seeing with the labor force availability and then picking up it accordingly?
So if you were to ask me that question, it's forward looking, so I would put that caveat into it. However, the Q1 is known now. Q2 we expect to be almost at par with the past performances. It is the Q3 and Q4 which will be the real drivers when the full workforce will be present and we are fully mobilized on all our sites. So that is when we expect the revenues to really jump up.
Okay, got it. This second question is on what are the upcoming broad opportunities that you are seeing, or any other opportunities that you could see in terms of acquiring another stress asset? And generally, what is also on the same side, what is the general threshold level for margin that you see for that?
So as we speak, there are a couple of options that we get the options practically every month. A few options we get it because of our financial capabilities. So we keep on looking at them, but we have our own thresholds returns, and as I said, which are definitely in the mid-teens and above.
Okay, got it, sir. And in terms of the state and municipal projects, are you seeing any big projects, and what is the size of the project that you'll be willing to bid for?
So we are looking at projects of in the ranges of 1,000 crores to some 6,000 crores. That's the kind of numbers that are panning out within the stock canvas.
Okay. If possible, could you provide us any opportunities that are in the pipeline now?
Yeah. If you could get in touch with my team separately, they may be able to give you an idea of what projects we are looking. And obviously, you would appreciate that this would not be fair for us to tell you exact projects that we would be bidding for, because that will give the competitors a competitive advantage against us.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Rachit Kamath from Anand Rathi. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my question. My first question pertains to, some of our projects are still at around 60-70% kind of a level. And even the CGRC and VSR projects are around 93%. So, and you're planning for getting a PCOD right now. So, is it that the land is not available for this, and this is the final land that is there?
So, Rajat, I'm not very clear of the question, but I will answer the question that I've understood. The question is there a land issue relating to the project?
Yes, sir. Yes.
The answer is that there are land issues. However, as NHAI has taken a decision that they go ahead and issue the PCOD if they are not in a position to issue get the land transferred to concessionaire for execution. So all land issues are de-scoped or de-linked as the case may be.
Okay. And so are we really willing to kind of go for a PCOD at this stage, because there is an uncertainty on the interest rate issue right now, and given the fact that if we are able to delay the project in terms of attaining a PCOD, we can push our annuity payments to that extent. Just wanted your thoughts on this one.
I don't think pushing PCOD is in the best interest of the company, because you are already running the interest on the debt as well as your equity is invested for much longer. It does not, the swing of bank rate does not compensate for these items.
In any event, if the bank rate corrects what we are presuming, then it would be applicable to the next annuity. So there is no point in us pushing the PCOD out. As Sandeep has said, it's the cost of PCOD pushing is far more higher than the advantage we will get out of it.
Sure. So is there any kind of loss funding or something we have done for the annuity asset for the Delhi Meerut in this quarter?
There is no loss funding. Because these annuities are well, they are covering all our costs and everything. So there has never been a loss funding in the previous quarter as well. These are there might be a timing mismatch in terms of the cash flows and other things, but to that extent, I think there is a clear, the whole HAM principle, the annuity principle are based on that.
No.
They kind of
No, so I realize that the timing of the cash flows is there, but then given the fact that we are paying and we are receiving interest at around 7.25%, but then we are paying at around 8.1% kind of a percentage interest rate. So on that account, I was thinking, was there any shortfall on that one?
Yeah, but there is also the interest paid on our own equity portion and the annuity which covers our own annuity. So if you add both of these, they more than account for the difference between the NHAI rate and the bank rate or the loan rate.
Sure, I understand. Sir, one more question I have is pertaining to the Mukarba Chowk. I think in the press release that you've given now, it shows that you have executed almost 43 crores kind of work during the quarter, Q1 FY21. So is my understanding correct?
That is correct. We have executed, and that since we were planning for this project to be awarded soon, this was a half-year substitution. we went ahead and started the work in much earlier in view of the impending monsoon season.
Okay. So I think you had a kind of good pace over there because I think we only were there for operation for almost 20 odd days, I suppose, and we done almost 43 crores. So.
Yeah.
Sure. Also, and I think, in water side, I think there are a lot of opportunities coming in the state of UP, and there were a lot of opportunities that were bid out recently. These are pertaining to, bulk water supply, wherein we are kind of interested in bidding. So, were we a participant in these projects?
So as I said, we are looking for projects where we are reasonably secure in our payments. So we first evaluate the payment histories of the states and then decide to take up, plunge into it.
Okay. So what kind of geographies could we be interested in? Like, I am pretty sure Maharashtra is the state that we are looking at.
Maharashtra, Gujarat, MP are few of the states. We are looking some states in the south as well. UP is definitely on radar as we speak.
Is there any kind of opportunity, like a pipeline that you would, like the number that you want to fix for the water segment?
So we would definitely want to get at least one project of about 1,000 crores in this Q1, in this financial year.
1,000 crores project in water sector. And on the road side, so how much are we targeting in terms of inflows?
Sorry?
On the road side, how much are we targeting in terms of inflows?
So I think we do not believe that we need too many orders at this point in time. Our target would be to get one or two projects.
Of around 1,000 crores each?
About we would want to increase the size of the project. So let's say somewhere between 1,200 to 1,500 crores each.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you. That answers. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nirav Shah from GC Holdings. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. You have partly answered my question just now. Just wanted to understand the strategy for inflows, because if I look at our current order book of around 4,700 crores and assuming some small de-scoping of say 250 crores, which is on the lower end of 15% of Tamil Nadu project EPC value, our residual order book by end of year, assuming hypothetically no inflows, is somewhere around 2,400 crores, which just suffices the next year our growth target, assuming, again, it's 15-20% run rate. So, just wanted to, if you can further elaborate on our strategy for inflows this year and next year, because that will give some visibility to beyond FY22 execution. How do we look at that space? Because now our order book is, the remaining 3 quarters will be largely from our acquired project in terms of execution. And last 2 quarters have been largely from Amaravati project, if I just look at the broad execution numbers. So it would be great if you could just share some thoughts on this.
So as if I understand your question correctly, your question is about visibility of order book. So we currently have a clear visibility of 18 months. Our endeavor will be to have a clear visibility of 24 months by the end of this year. So that's what our target is. So that's what we are working towards.
And the remaining 3 quarters of this financial year, it will be largely from the Mukarba Chowk project, because if you want to achieve the PCOD by year end.
So all the projects which if you see, we are targeting PCODs of Amaravati as well as particularly Tasor as well. So these are the 3 major projects which will contribute to the turnover.
Okay, fair point, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Ajay Gupta from JM Financial. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Just the recent Supreme Court order that you have got, and hopefully the appointment date will be in August. how much of this order do you expect to execute in the current financial year?
So, first of all, this order has been obtained by NHAI and not by us. The SLP was from NHAI.
Right.
Yeah. So, secondly, we expect approximately 10% of the progress to come from the SNRP project in this financial year.
Okay, so we are not so that means most of this order will be executed by you in FY 21-22.
That is correct.
So which means then your order book will virtually be over except for this order by the end of this financial year. Most of your other orders, including...
We still will have the order of Anta Simaria, which will continue into 2022.
And in the last 12 or 15 months, there has not been a single order that the company seems to have won from NHAI biddings which has happened. I mean, how optimistic is the company now with the bids that they have put in? Because the past 12 to 18 months, the order inflows have virtually dried up. I mean, for whatever reason, I'm not getting into that, but just want to understand, because if no new orders come in and if this appointment date gets delayed, then 21-22 can be a washout.
So, I would want to answer the question on two-pronged approach. Number one, that we have already acquired a 2,000 odd crore project recently. So there are enough projects available of similar kind in the country, so we don't need to necessarily win a project. We are equally comfortable through acquisition of project route to keep our turnovers. So that's number one that you may want to consider. Secondly, that there are a lot of opportunities in NHAI, and I don't know, and I think there is only one bid which has opened recently. Out of the 7 bidders, we were L4. So we are in the bunch. We are right there. If we want to, we will get a few of the projects. We have no doubt about it. The third thing that I would want you to consider is that NHAI is not the only client that we are targeting. We are targeting other clients as well. We are very well placed to get the contracts.
What would be the company's guidance for next year, 21-22?
Our target would be to have a growth of about 20% on the this year's financial results.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Keshav Garg from Counter Cyclical Investment. Please go ahead.
Sir, I wanted to understand that, like you mentioned, that you are targeting 20% growth for FY21, sir, in top line. And sir, so in EBITDA also, like last year we did 260 crores, so we will exceed 300 crore this financial year?
That shall be our endeavor.
Sir, and also I wanted to understand, sir, please pardon me for asking a basic question, but sir, like I understand you are in PMC business only. So basically you are bidding and then you are becoming L1 and then you are outsourcing the project to a contractor. So the contractor must also be making his margin, sir. So how does it add up? I mean, why doesn't your contractor directly bid with NHAI? And I mean, why should he, take it on subcontract from you?
So I think it's a very simple question. The differential lies between our ability to bid for the project and do the financial closures, which the subcontractors that we use do not have the wherewithal. Secondly, not everybody wants to be a developer. There are different players who want to be pure EPC players, and for them this is a good win-win situation to tie up along with us.
I think also important point is that how many people are able to achieve financial closure, because it's a very critical element of the project. Winning project is, I think, the easiest part, but able to achieve the financial closure at the most cost-effective manner and then complete the project is a different ball game altogether. So while some of these EPC players that we have dealt with may also become our competitor going forward, but clearly the financial strength of the developer is the most important element in this bidding, and which I think is not very easy to replicate. So I think from that angle, while there would be some I would say usual suspects which are bidding, but a new entrant may come up with some funny bids which may not get financially closed. You have to view the entire industry in that holistic view.
Sure, sir. And so also, sir, our oil and gas company, I mean, our JV is making losses. So when do you hope to either exit it or at least for the JV to stop making losses?
I think first of all, let me clarify, there are no losses being made. This is practically where we are spending a capital for capital asset. There are minor operational costs for the business. Secondly, as we have said, the intent is to monetize these assets once the project comes to a situation where we can convert these resources into reserves, which happens post these two wells being drilled post-monsoon.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manoj Kumar from IDFC Securities Limited. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for taking my question once again. I have one broad question on the monetization of HAM assets. I believe now MORTH has come up with a new way of linking this annuity payments interest to SBI MCLR. Are we hearing anything solid on that front? And I believe would it be any beneficial for our HAM assets?
So if NHAI comes up with SBI MCLR plus a percentage spread over it, that will be a welcome change. Yes, we are very much impacted by this decision, and it will be beneficial for the industry at large.
Okay. Sir, or do you also have anything in mind on what would be new formulation that MORTH might take up that might be beneficial in the prolonged future also, not just for this upcoming time?
I couldn't follow the question. Could you repeat, please?
Anything that you have in your mind on how this concession agreement could be framed in terms of this annuity payment? Any suggestions that you had or anything like that you are pushed towards NHAI for this matter?
So we through the NHBF have put a couple of suggestions to the NHAI and MORTH. I am reasonably confident that those are currently under discussion at the government level. So the options could be SBI MCLR, 15-year or 10-year GSEC, etc. So there could be certain indices which are better reflecting the cost of money than the bank rate specified by RBI. So that's our suggestion.
Okay, got it. And the second question on the execution trajectory that you have for this BOT project that you acquired recently.
Sorry, you have to repeat your question. You missed the question.
For the recent acquired BOT project, what is the execution trajectory that you are having in mind right now? And what are the equity commitments that you are going to make and the timely payments of that? Timeline for that?
So in terms of execution strategy, I would want to take this question saying that we are really pushing very hard. As you would see that we have already in the quarter one itself, we have done a revenue of about 40 crores plus. So the intent is to do a project at least if nothing more, to about 75%, which will allow us the PCOD in this financial year. That will be our endeavor.
Okay. And what about the equity commitment on this, sir? Anything that you...
So the equity commitment for the project is totaling 200 crores odd, out of which I think we have already spent about 85 crores. 90 crores, yeah. So the balance commitment is yet to be fulfilled in the coming year.
Got it. Okay, got it. And the final question, when you are speaking about this financial flows here, I just wanted to understand how is the broad environment right now in terms of how has it changed considerably, or do we see, or have we seen any resistance in the recent times after COVID-19?
So since we are right now fully funded on all our projects, so we don't know how the others are feeling. However, we are very comfortable with our financial closures, and we are not seeing any resistance per se from the bankers.
Okay, got it. And the last question, sir, if I may. So, what is this? Are we L1 in on any big projects right now?
Not as of now.
Oh, got it, sir. Sir, and are we seeing any interest towards, as a company, are we more likely to bid for more upcoming BOT projects from NHAI maybe?
So BOT and EPC are adjacencies to us from the HAM. So we keep on looking at them. If the BOOT, which is currently being modified by the NHAI stroke MOP, and if the risk and rewards are balanced, surely we would look at it. We are not also averse to look at EPC, but we have a threshold return. Now that we have a pipeline of subcontractors which are aligned to work with us, so both these two adjacencies are open to us as we speak.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. As there are no further questions, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Yeah. So, friends, thanks for coming on this call. On a closing comment, I would want to say that Welspun Enterprises will continue its journey of operational excellence on our portfolio of more than 12,000 crores. We thank all our stakeholders for showing confidence in us, especially as we equip ourselves for the new normal. The company remains focused on value unlocking through recycling of capital. Thank you, and for any further questions and queries you may have, please get in touch with our investor relationship team. Thank you and good day.
Thank you.